Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Steven Schoes. I'm the head of strategic relations at Fleet Europe, and it's my pleasure to welcome you in our webinar this afternoon. We will talk about one of the most important topics today in our fleet and mobility industry. We will talk about fleet electrification and the transition to an electric fleet, and more specifically, everything you need to know about setting up, implementing, and rolling out the right energy management and EV charging system. And we do that together with our trusted partner, Eaton. And we would like to thank already Eaton for their expertise. You will hear from two experts later on. And of course, at the end, we will also have a Q&A session where you can ask your questions to our expert speakers. But first of all, who is Eaton? What is Eaton? If you don't know Eaton, Eaton is the intelligent power management company that is dedicated to improving the quality of your life and your business. And they do that in more than 170 countries worldwide. So they are really a global player. They have a lot of expertise, and they also know everything in terms of the electrification journey. The topic of today, of this webinar, is navigating the fleet electrification journey, strategies to de-risk your fleet transition and deliver the positive charging experiences. What we have heard from many fleet managers is indeed that they question the seamless experience when it comes to EV charging at home for their employees, at the depot in their offices, and they want to know as well how to, let's say, balance the different forms of EV charging possible, and how, of course, also to mitigate the risks that can be combined to electrification and EV charging. And with our experts of Eaton, we will examine the ideal electrification journey and also the seamless EV charging experience. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome our two experts for our webinar this afternoon. First is Alberto Palermo. And Alberto, hello, Alberto. I hope that you are
Hello.
doing well.
Yes, I'm fine.
Yes,
Thanks.
Alberto, you are the Business Development Manager for Energy Transition, Digital and Services at Eaton for the EMEA region. Is that correct?
Yes, this is right.
That's quite a title. So we are also excited to listen to you afterwards, but you are not alone. You are here together with your colleague. So let also bring into the room Damien Durouchou. Damien, welcome. Welcome to the webinar. I hope that you are doing well as well.
Doing great. Thank you, Stephen.
Damien, you are the offer manager for energy transition, digital and services at Eaton. You are responsible not only for the development and the management of the portfolio tailored for fleet applications, but you are also working closely with Alberto in terms of how to guide your customers to that EV charging journey and make it as seamless as possible with the right solutions and services. Is that right?
That's 100% correct. Yeah.
Perfect. So, indeed, as I already mentioned before, we have heard from many fleet managers that, of course, today it's perhaps more easy to get the right electric vehicle. But now the question will be how to tackle, how to master the EV charging experience. So, I think that the topic that you have chosen together with us for this afternoon is spot on. And so I will step out of the room, give you all the room to present how you see the seamless charging experience. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that you can submit your question to Damien and Alberto by using the chat function in this webinar room, because at the end of the presentation, we will have our Q&A session where I will have the time to moderate the most interesting questions together with both our expert speakers. Enjoy this webinar. Already, thanks again to Eaton, Alberto, and Damien, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar about how to navigate the electrification journey of a fleet. We thank Fleet Europe for the organization of this space. We hope that you will find it insightful and inspiring. Before go ahead, I welcome also Damian, my colleague today with me. Please, Damian, for a short introduction.
Hi, Alberto. Thanks a lot. I'm glad being here today. So just to give you a little bit of background, so as I was presented before, I'm a firm manager for Eaton in EMEA, and also I've been working in the e-mobility industry for quite some time now. So I will yeah very much know the subject. That's what we are going to speak about today. And going back to you, Alberto.
Thanks, Damian. I completed a roundtable introduction with myself. I'm Alberto Palermo. I'm Business Development Manager for EMEA at Eaton for Energy Transition, Digital and Services. I had a previous experience in automotive world as well as transportation design and engineering, always as a BD sales and PM position. And yes, I definitely happy to be here today to introduce the Eaton capabilities and experience on this interesting and trend topic. The menu of today is collected in 5 main chapters. Damien will introduce you shortly who is Eaton and which industries we are following. Then we will give you some market insights and target in terms of decarbonization goal in Europe. Then after that, I will go through the AVCI implementation stages. And then we will have definitely time for a Q&A session. So feel free to ask whatever you want to be whatever you want to discover deeper or have further information from ourselves. And then don't forget that at the end of the webinar, we will ask you to fulfill a brief survey that could be extremely useful to observe your current situation and potentially support your future electrification needs and stages.
So thanks, Alberto, for the introduction. To give you a little bit about a little bit of background about Eaton. So Eaton is a very old company that started in 1911. So it's a power management and manufacturing company. Also, we have been listed in Nasdaq stock exchange over the past 100 years. And as Stephen mentioned, we are operating in more than 170 countries around the world with 5 main headquarters that you can find on the map just in front of you, and with 2 especially in Europe. Now, regarding financial results, we last year alone, we achieved a revenue of $23 billion in terms of revenue. So that's quite a lot. If we go now a little bit more about Eaton ecosystem, Eaton is playing a critical role across the global supply chain. So from electricity generation, transmission, distribution, but also consumption. Also, if we go more in details, Eaton is providing some components for the aerospace in the automotive industry, and also supports electrical systems, UPSs, data centers, and home automation. Overall, and to summarize, Eaton today is actually focusing on energy transition and building energy management as a whole. And so the plan, and that's what you will discover afterwards, it's that Eaton is providing an integrated solution, combining software and hardware to achieve decarbonization goals and sustainability objectives. Now, speaking about regulations, this can vary country to country, but overall in Europe and especially in the European Union, we saw that the trend is really to go from internal combustion engine cars to electric vehicles. This trend is actually becoming more and more important as the European Union wants to be the first climate neutral continent by 2050. So this is an ambitious goal, and this planning for electrification is really crucial to achieve this goal, because the growing demand of cars will also bring the demand on EV chargers and battery storage to reduce peak demands. At the same time, we need to ensure that the grid remains stable to avoid also power cuts and instability. So to do this, we really need to plan ahead, and this electrification actually start today.
Thanks, Damien. Before exploring the VCI implementation path, we would like to share with you just these single slides about what happened in our Swiss headquarter starting from 2021, actually 3 years ago now. At that time, the single user per month about our VCI was just 5 to 10 heavy drivers. Now we have a peak about 70 user. That means 30, 40 user per month with a sensible increase consumption of kilowatt consumption per quarter. To make the long story short, be ready for the challenges that you are facing today for tomorrow, but also the day after tomorrow. In other words, please adapt your grid for a future demand. This will definitely save you in the operation in a world that is becoming constantly electric more and more. Concerning electrification, could seem complex. We are here to say to you that actually is complex. For sure, it's not something that happen in a blink of an eye, but following a structured path is definitely something affordable and feasible. For sure, this will have a cultural impact too, okay, but by the user. But adopting the right solution, it will be fast and we can say also fun. Today, the fleet managers' challenges, as well as the sustainability leaders inside the corporation, have to consider different variables to switch from internal combustion engine to electric vehicles. It's not just the matter to put in place a colorful pedestal with a nice plug, for sure, I can tell you, but you need to evaluate the use case scenario as well as the readiness of your existing grid and future energy demand. Last but not least, the impact in terms of total investment cost and decarbonization impact on the entire energy transition journey that you are doing. This is valid for corporate fleet as well as commercial and logistic application. So now, going deeper on our Eaton approach, we can show you how we are used to support the decarbonization journey of our partners and clients. Our path is split in 5 main stages. This is to offer a sustainable path and approach in a smart way. All the phases are important, but especially the first 2 phases because are more focused on an upfront analysis about the current existing scenario where you are compete in terms of grid and application compared to the future challenges that you have to achieve. In some cases, spend time on a good and deep analysis in early stage could play an important role at the end of the path to target the right investment and optimize the future infrastructure operativity. The VCI, don't forget that the VCI could be just a part of the puzzle of an entire ecosystem that you will have an impact on your building in terms of energy consumption. So energy transition is playing, let's say, a full approach to a new grid. Now, giving you evidence about each phase. For the first analysis and discovery phase, Eaton will provide you a full solution, including a technical audit by our engineer team of the site or sites, if you are talking about a big corporation with different buildings, in order to understand the building load profile in terms of energy demand and energy consumption. We will also focus on the understanding in detail your needs regarding electrification, and then we will accompany you in order to answer to main question that you are facing today. So to give you an example, how many charging points are you planning to implement, fast versus charging solution, supervision software required, scalable or upgradable solution in the future, leasing solution to finance this implementation, and also outside the corporation, how you will support your employee in the charging system at home or in a public road. As you can see, These questions are not only technical one, but also financial one, because this kind of revolution will affect also the cash flow of a company. In order to support better this kind of discovery and analysis phase, Eaton has developed internally a powerful tool of simulation. This is extremely useful for the reason previously mentioned. With this tool, you could literally play with the different variables on the table and have a clear analysis about your current consumption and the impact with the future result of the implementation of the grid. This simulation is not only useful to optimize and see the result of hardware and software integration impact, as well as PV solar panel, if you have it on the roof, or the implementation of a battery storage to store the overplus production of energy. The simulation can also have a look on the cost in terms of capex and opex and calculate the payback period. Later on during the presentation, we will come back on the financial issue. Okay. Then I leave you the stage, Damien, for the design phase.
Sorry, regarding design, I want to highlight something that we call building as a grid at Eaton. This building as a grid approach, actually, we make sure that to put the building at the center of the ecosystem and at the solution. This involved the development of EV chargers, energy storage solution, also power distribution systems. And this is all integrated with an energy management software in order to actually balance and manage all the energy flows. Additionally, and not least, we collaborate with partners, strategic partners that actually can cover complementary aspects, such as the installation of solar panels on the roof to make sure we have also renewable energy. Now, a deeper look into the chargers. So this is to give you an idea of the different EV chargers that we have in the portfolio of Eaton. Some are available, some are still in development currently, and will come by the end of the year and next year. So we have two different type of chargers. Let's say some slow chargers that we call AC chargers, ranging from 3.7 kilowatts to 22 kilowatts. And we have also some DC charger that goes from 22 kilowatts to more than 200 kilowatts. Overall, this strategy is very convenient. We develop chargers that are vehicle to grid ready. This means that we can also use the battery from the car to actually power the building. So that's something that is really innovative, actually. We are also CPP compliant. We also enhance dynamic load balancing up to 50 stations at the same time to actually do some prioritization, reduce also the demand from the building. All our chargers are also compliant with regulations from all Europe. So, for example, in the German part, we are ESHRECH compliant. In UK, we are UK Smart compliant and EV ready also for other countries. Eaton also is putting a very high standard into cyber security. There is very high level of security in this field. And as you can see here also, we designed the first charger that is called the Green Motion Air 22 that was actually EASA certified for charging electric aircrafts. Overall, we also talk about battery storage. So those actually, we design and manufacture those X-storage units that can cover various range of needs, ranging from small to very big backup power. The idea overall of the battery energy storage is to enable self-consumption of renewable energy. So when you have solar or wind or other renewable energies that you can use for your self-consumption of the building. We also provide some interesting aspects on top of this, such as peak shading, load shading, So yeah, those are very innovative and very needed in some cases to answer your building demands. Going back to you, Alberto.
Thanks, Damien. So the next phase is build and optimize. Literally, this phase is the most operative one. It's quite complex. As you can see, the variables on the table are different from operative, but also from a software point of view and service and after sales, and then optimization. Eaton is partnering with the different system integrators and installer in not an exclusive way around all the countries in Europe. So we are capable to follow you in the operative phase at four ends with the technical partner. In this phase, the variables that you need to consider are different, not only the build and operative, but also the software side of the implementation in terms of permission and access to the control of your grid. The analysis will play a crucial role also here in order to monitor and reporting the energy insights that you are receiving from your new grid. Then the topic concerning the billing, invoicing, in other words, you can play also as a company a role of charging point destination. So you can open your future electric vehicle charging infrastructure to the public and generate revenue from that. It's not mandatory, but could be also that kind of operation a point. And then Eaton is absolutely a master in technical support and services. So for sure, as soon as you put in place a new grid, you need to be able to support from service point of view with the customer service ready in hotline 24 hours per 7 day. And then the optimization. The optimization, let me say that if you spend the right time during the analysis and discovery phase, as well as the simulation mentioned previously, will be easy to approach. Otherwise, through the optimization of the grid, you could optimize the peak of the energy consumption of your new grid, shaving the peak and see what are the performance and make the right implementation during the operation. Then we will go to show you a little video, and then I leave Damien make some comments on it.
All right, back online. So here, this video actually showed you how our Eaton approach have worked well. I will also highlight it, giving you some numbers, but I will first highlight the challenge. So at the first time, what we had, we had a growing number of electric vehicles. This was mostly corporate cars, pool cars, service cars. So those are actually corporate fleet cars within the company. And this brings the demand for EV charging growing, really. And also, at the same time, we had a very large increase of energy prices in Switzerland. So we needed to make sure that we generated revenue. So those EV chargers represented around 50% of the building energy consumption. So the solution was pretty simple. So we did this simulation test with our building. We did actually leverage our X-Storage Compact while managing the energy flows with the energy management system that you have seen. This actually ensured the reduction of the electricity bill. And also we were able to generate revenue by two aspects. First was to selling back electricity to the utility company. And the second was actually that we put some EV charging, so DC charging stations outside the office where actually public were able, so external users were able to come and pay for the electricity. Overall, Eaton saved 60% of the electricity bill in 2022, despite the raise of the electricity prices. So really, that's enormous. As you can see, also some number on the slide. We are doing cost savings of around 1,700 euros per month due to those implementation. And at the same time, we invested on charge at home capabilities for sales cars to be able to be more on the road. So with an automated billing solution, we made sure that sales can be on the road with their the car, sorry, fully charged. Back to you, Alberto, for another example.
Yes, the other example is outside our company. I'm pretty sure that everybody is know SAP as a brand, at least has a nice software to use in a B2B application. We work with SAP labs in France. The challenge for them was to double the required charging power capacity of the electric vehicles without doubling the power demand on the grid. Also here, the solution made by Eaton was the implementation of our X-Storage compact energy storage system, coupled with the smart charging and locally generated photovoltaic energy. The system that we applied was a system of 40 kilowatt of power and a capacity of 150 kilowatt per hour. Here you can see the map of the building. At that time, in 2018, in SAP, the numbers of AV drivers was already a good number because they were 162. Now in 2020 and today, they are representing the 90% of the entire fleet, so more than 250 cars. And after installing a solar panel on their roof, and providing fast EV chargers, the company realized that its self-generated photovoltaic energy was independent of the charging network, meaning that the benefits of its optimized electric vehicle charging facility would be limited. Thanks to our storage solution, they could storage the overplus generation of energy and reuse in their building and in their existing grid. On the slide, you can see the last number and the increased performances. Talking about partnership, Eaton would like to play a role like a one-stop solution for its clients. So we are able to provide you different partners that could support your energy transition and decarbonization journey. from a financial point of view, but also to operation point of view, passing through consultancy. A few words about our partners. We are partnering with BNP Paribas Leasing Solution in order to remove burden from significant investment with the leasing solution. We are partnering with IES to help make better energy transition plan by using the digital twin technology. Okay, here we are coming back again and again, stress the fact of analysis and discovery and simulation that are really strategic to approach this journey. And then Bridgestone with the web fleet in order to develop end-to-end fleet electrification strategy. These are a partnership already installed, so feel free to leverage and ask Eaton to introduce to you these partners, because they could play really an important role to your project.
So overall, and to conclude, Eaton is let's say a key partner in your fleet electrification, or can be a key partner. That's really what we are looking for. And what we would like to do, it's really transform your building, your workplace into an energy hub. This will actually allow, and this energy hub concept will allow you to lower the costs of fleet electrification, as well as financing green investments. Overall, we will design a future-proof infrastructure that can also evaluate and be really at the forefront of the next generation of your fleet, actually. So if your fleet is becoming green and green, that's what we hope. That's the trend. We will also have some scalability process in place.
Thanks, Damien.
So here.
Perfect. Damien, Alberto, thank you very much. As you explained, and we will start in a minute the Q&A. So to the participants, if you have a question for Damien, Alberto, please submit your question via the chat. But you see on the screen a QR code. Please use your smartphone, and you can scan that code, or you will go to a page where you can fill in a short survey that Eaton has put together. And the survey is called Powering the Future of Fleet Management. And I believe, Alberto, that there is also something as a gift to all the participants that fill in that survey. Is that correct?
Yes, you're right. We will give our participants to the simulation, to the survey with a free simulation. So our sales engineering team will contact you in order to provide you a simulation project to your future application.
Okay, so just filling in the survey, it's just a short survey, 3 minutes or something like that, will give the participants the opportunity to benefit from the expertise of an Eaton EV expert in doing a simulation and see how they can, let's say, reform their building, their strategy into a more energy efficient company. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. So I think that we also now have put the link into the chat. So if for one reason or the other you can't scan the QR code, don't worry. In the chat, you will also find the link directly to the survey. So please fill in the survey and you can benefit from a simulation conducted by an Eaton energy transition expert. As mentioned, we now have time for the Q&A. So here we go. A first question. Gentlemen, once again, thank you. Thank you for the explanation. Very interesting. How do I decide as a company, and where do I start perhaps as a company with the exercise on what EV charging infrastructure I need? Because I have a building, I am a company, I have different subsidiaries. I would love to, make it as energy efficient as possible, have EV charging infrastructure. But of course, it's something that I've never done. I have no experience. So, how do I decide on what I need and where do I start?
Damien, if you want, I can go for it.
Sure.
So, call an expert, call Eaton. And I think that the best answer to this question is again call an expert and approach and discovery phase about your current situation and the future demand in terms of implementation and use case. And Eaton will play absolutely for you a simulation, because the simulation tool with the analysis of your current infrastructure and the future needs is absolutely the best way to proceed upfront in order to understand exactly what you need to do in terms of project plan for the implementation.
Okay. If I put the question perhaps in another format, is there something that you see happening often or more regularly with customers in terms of perhaps not a mistake or something like that, but that you see this is something that comes back again and again, where probably people need to pay attention to, because it's almost something that companies do almost automatically, and perhaps this is not the right way to go. Is there an element like that that you see coming back again and again, and where you say, well, this companies could do better?
Yes, absolutely. The first and the recurrent mistake that the people or company are doing, but it's quite normal. Okay, is a new topic for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Is the not readiness of the grid. So
Yeah.
and potentially they are choosing also not the right infrastructure in terms of kilowatt performances of the pedestal or of the chargers, because they are convinced that I put a fast charger and I solve all the problems. Absolutely not. Also because if you are putting a fast charger without a solid grid behind, the fast charger will fail. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
potentially you can also save money, because potentially your use case scenario is a case where you can park the car for an entire night. I think today in this moment to a logistic use. To give you an example, a light commercial vehicle that after 200 kilometer per day stop the vehicle during all the night. In that case, you can charge at 22, 44 kilowatts. It's not useful and spend money to go faster, okay, because you have time. So you can
Mm-hmm.
save money and you can also save your grid and starting from your grid, make some optimization without make a big revolution. Okay, so brief and call an expert, and we will for sure help you to choose the right solution for you.
Okay, just because there's a question that I have here talking about the grid, isn't it so that uh, it can take long to make sure that the grid capacity will be, let's say, enhanced, increased? So, can you explain how to adapt the grid? Where do I need to go as a company? Because can I do that myself? Is it via Eaton? Do I need to go to a national grid operator? How does this work?
Eaton could play a consultancy role for you.
Okay.
So together with the system integrator or installer, we will give you all the technical answer, including what you need to do from grid state infrastructure, okay, permission and so on. It's something that we are not managing because we are not installer. But as mentioned, we are providing solution and we are partnering with people that will play the technical role and operative role for you. Okay,
Mhm.
it's a combination of factor. Okay,
Yeah.
and Eaton has this kind of capacity to put in the basket all the players that are playing a role in this revolution.
Yeah. But it will probably take up to some weeks, months, I don't know, before that the grid capacity
Depends on
will be
the
improved.
Yes, Steven, depends on the case. If you are talking
Okay.
about a small, medium company, something that could happen in just a few months. Okay. If you are
Okay.
talking about a big global national company with 20 facility, okay, it's another game.
Hmm. Okay. Damien, you were talking about building as a grid. Why is it necessary that companies really start thinking at building as a grid?
As So it's as Alberto mentioned. So this is really need to be planned ahead. The reason behind it's really for the to have to ensure the grid stability overall.
Okay.
And this is where we have a product that fits completely into this topic is really the X storage, and this will enable actually to reduce the peak demands. And just to bounce on what has been said by Alberto before, one example that we saw in most of our, let's say, current customers and current approach is that people actually are investing and installing EV chargers to charge car. But as I mentioned in previously, this charging infrastructure for us at Eaton represented 50% of the electricity needed. And when you go on top of a certain, let's say, kilowatts power that you need per day or per month, you will pay the utility company, but much higher amount. And this is where actually having a battery storage to store energy and to use it when needed during those peaks will reduce the overall monthly costs that you pay at the utility company. And this is where this needs to be planned ahead.
Hmm. I don't know if you saw the question that just popped in. I don't know. The question is, can you bypass the grid's weakness by producing yourself green energy?
If you want, Alberto, I can take this one.
Yes.
I Yes, that's exactly the plan.
Okay.
So when you have solar panels, for example, on the roof, as presented into our office in Mont-sur-Lausanne in Switzerland, so we have those solar panels that actually generate energy, and this energy we actually store it to actually use it later on. So we are two things. First, we are getting back energy, giving back energy to the grid, and also we secure on our side as a backup system to if there is a cut or a grid weakness, we will cover this energy supply that we need for our business actually. So the answer is yes.
Okay. I think Damien, I think it was you that also talked about, was it peak shaving or something like that?
Peak shaving, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
How can a fleet benefit from that?
So it's I mentioned before, it's so when you are charging an electric, let's say, fleet, you will ask and you will request the huge power to the grid,
Hmm.
and this peak shaving will enable to actually decrease a little bit the energy that you need on peak levels. So you will use the battery storage that you have been charging beforehand. So this is really so we'll also check about the data of the weather if you have solar panels, all those kind of things. And deals will be done using our energy management software. So you can use the electricity that you actually put into the storage to reduce those peak shaving activities. So that will reduce the cost overall of what is needed.
Okay. Um, Many fleet managers, they have questions about how to make sure that depot charging and home charging can be done in a seamless way. Let's start with the recommendations for depot charging. Are there recommendations? Are there things that you say, well, these are perhaps the two or three things that you definitely need to take into account?
So that's a very good question, Stephen. So for depot charging, the first thing is to analyze the size of the fleet also. That's very
Mhm.
important. And to also integrate the schedule of let's say the delivery vehicles in order to understand what's the kilometers that they are driving per day. Um, with this, we can actually after give some inputs about let's say a mix of charging infrastructure, balancing between AC and DC chargers for slow charging during the night, for example, and fast charging during the day, if vehicles are driving a lot, like 400 or 500 kilometers a day, they will come back, charge again, very fast power, and then go on the road again. So this will be, needs to be analyzed, but considering a mix of DC and AC charging is will be the more convenient, the more recommended approach.
Mm-hmm. Another question also linked to the capabilities of Eaton and EV charging. Does Eaton help customers with one, public charging solutions as well, home charging reimbursement?
Yes, so
Yes.
that's a very good question. Very often when we talk about corporate fleet, we have this question about home charging.
Mm-hmm.
Home charging is quite simple actually. It's an AC charger that you put at home where you can charge your car. So we have also some partners that can help install our EV chargers for your say employees' home. And then on top of that, you had a software that can do the reimbursements. So
Okay.
what we see, it's most of the time we take the average price of the electricity from the utility company, and this actually the company can actually be invoiced for this, and the employee can be reimbursed for the electricity consumption at home when it's for a corporate vehicle in that case.
Okay. And in terms of public charging, is there something that you can do, or is that, let's say, at the moment out of your scope because that is publicly set?
So Eaton is not focused on public for charging infrastructure. So
Mm-hmm.
we had this in the field in the past, but where we are focusing on is doing partnerships with some strategic partners that covers this field. So for at work and also public charging, if you have a company car, this, for example, can be complementary for the user, and so it will be charged directly to the company. So this we're combining with partners to actually provide this service. Eaton is not doing it as directly, but of course we are leveraging strategic partners to do so.
Mhm. When you were talking about, let's say, the portfolio of solutions that you have brought and are bringing to the market, you were talking about the chargers. And in the explanation, you said, well, those chargers are already approved and compatible with that regulation and that standard, etc. Um, One, why is there no one standard? And two, will we ever have one standard? Because that also would make probably the charging experience even more comfortable and easy for many companies that have international activities.
Another good question. I think that the answer is not only on the shoulder of Eaton,
Mm-hmm.
because so standardization is something that could affect political world and let's say country organization also. So in this moment, Europe is playing a different certification in a certain area respect others. US is completely another world, as well as UK. So for sure, our recommendation is define a strategy, okay, a common strategy, but it's something that will happen thanks to common roundtable and common works. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A final question from my side. What is what will innovation bring in the near future that will help corporate fleets when it comes to the charging infrastructure or the charging system or the energy management system? Is there something that you see in the development in your industry where you say, well, this is something that will probably be a next very interesting leap for the customer?
If you want, Alberto, on
Yep.
On my side,
Please, please.
there is multiple things to say in this question. On my side, we'll focus on one aspect that will become, in my opinion, one of the key, let's say, innovation in the future. It's very the vehicle to, so we call it vehicle to grid, but also vehicle to X capability. This means that you will use your vehicle as a battery that can power something else, that can power your home, that can power the workplace, that can power everything. And this will really revolutionize what we have been thinking since the beginning. And this is where at Eaton, we really believe in the electric. So some are not believing in the electric vehicle as a whole, but in Eaton, we really believe in this because of this vehicle to grid capacity in the future.
Okay, but it's not something that is already tangible today. We will need to wait a couple more years.
So we have been doing some for vehicle to grid and vehicle to X capabilities. So we have been doing some tests internally.
Mm-hmm.
So we have achieved to actually take the electricity from a car and to put it back to the storage, so the X
Mm-hmm.
storage complex that we have. So this, we have been doing those tests. It's working well. We have also some tests ongoing with two other customers at the moment for this vehicle to grid capacity. What is kind of not blocking us, but what will take more time, it's all the regulation aspects. But it's
Yeah.
same with autonomous drive. So this kind of, yeah, those topics will come more and more, and this the governance and all the regulation will move also on this.
Okay. Is there something to add, Alberto? Or
For me, I think that we cover a little different topics. Okay,
yeah,
so it was quite interesting also for us cover all the
very good.
gaps that the participants feels. So and feel free to contact and reach us also offline.
Yeah,
Here you have our contacts. Okay, and
perfect.
so we will more than welcome to assist you.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you to the audience, but of course also thank you to Eaton and thank you to Damien and Alberto for your expertise. I think that you really succeeded in unlocking some of the tangible benefits for that seamless electrification and EV charging journey. If you want to know more about electrification, you can always reach out to Eaton. You can also follow, of course, Fleet Europe and our website fleeteurope.com, where our editorial team will continue to develop interesting articles and analysis about electrification and EV charging. And don't forget to fill in the little survey where you can also benefit from the free simulation conducted by an energy expert of Eaton. And I hope to see you next time in the next initiative of Fleet Europe. Thank you once again. Bye bye.
Thank you all.